Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 177. Men should be dangerous. And I'm saying this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, that men should be dangerous. They should be formidable. They should be able to do great harm and have the capacity to do great harm. Now, I don't say that they should do great harm, but they should certainly have the capacity to do great harm, and they should be dangerous to people that oppose them when necessary. Let me explain further. You know, we live in a free society in America, and we're open to dialogue, and we have the capacity to engage each other with ideas, with the capacity to present an argument, put it out to the public. Maybe the public has, or it then goes to the legislative branch. We can make laws, and we have a justice system where we can engage each other, and we can actually solve our differences with words and diplomacy and everything else. Well, the problem is this, that there are people out there that don't believe in justice, they don't believe in freedom, they don't believe in liberty, and they're kind of tyrants, and they're people that want to seize power from the rest of their fellow countrymen no matter what. I mean, if you just think back in history the last 100 years, I mean, you could just, there was, Hitler and Stalin and Lenin and Brezhnev and Khrushchev and Tito and Ceausescu and Pol Pot and you name it, that the Mao Zedong, there are people that no matter what, they wanted to dominate their fellow human being because domination brings people intense pleasure. The capacity to dominate and be a tyrant is something that is innate to some people. Now, if you have a legal system, a justice system, and free exchange of ideas, that's wonderful. That's usually a peaceful country if you're able to attain that. But the problem is if tyrants win, if they actually go outside of the justice system and they gain power like they did during the Bolshevik Revolution, then the ideas and the mental sharpness and the capacity to engage in the diplomacy means nothing, because the tyrants of the world will squash you with tanks and bullets. And men in particular, they need to be the great defenders of their nation when it's going to degrade into tyranny. And so therefore men have to be dangerous, because when diplomacy fails, then if men are not dangerous, then they're nothing. They're like a squashed bug, they're a slave, and they're a dog. Men need to be dangerous because one day if they need to step up and oppose a tyrant, that they have the great capacity to do so. And this brings me to the virtue of meekness. I've talked about this before. Everybody thinks meekness is weakness, but meekness is not. Meekness is a phenomenal amount of strength. The capacity to do some serious harm to other people, but choosing to not do harm. It's essentially like having a sword in its sheath, but not taking it out. The capacity to use it, but not. Because if men are strong in that way and they carry virtue, and the virtue of meekness, then when the tyrants rise, the tyrants will be able to be opposed. If there are not men with meekness, with overwhelming force and overwhelming strength, but the internal restraint needed to create a just society, then those people will be rolled over when the tyrants rise. And they exist in every society, people. They exist in America today. They've existed in America forever. There's always people that want to dominate other people, and always people that will use every manner they can to actually override their fellow man. And so men, I will encourage you, first you have to acquire your virtues, do all 7 virtues, fortitude, temperance, prudence, justice, faith, hope, and love. Master those suckers, but at the same time, master your strength and your capacity to do great harm. Because if you can do all that, then you are truly formidable, because you'll have the words for diplomacy, you'll have the capacity to keep peace. But when, push comes to shove, and when diplomacy has been worn out, you have the capacity to do great good through the defense of your fellow man. And so, man, you need to be dangerous. And so stop playing video games, get off the damn couch, lift some weights, go for a jog, hit a heavy bag. Do that, maybe even study firearms just a little bit, but only if you have virtue. If you have any kind of inclination where you're not necessarily in control of your own free will, like you have bouts of anger, don't ever touch firearms. Catholic Dad tells you to do that. Don't do that. Don't touch the firearms. But you should have the capacity to do great harm when needed. And then you could become a knight like in the Middle Ages. And you will be able to defend the weak and the downtrodden when necessary, when all the checks and balances on government and all the diplomacy of the nation fades away to the tyrant. So this is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Please like or subscribe and get the Mass, pray the daily rosary, and oh yeah, share with your friends, and live a sacramental life.